aside from just page speed, because that's obviously important, I see a lot of these financial, we'll call them financial institution websites. I guess that's what they are. And they just seem bogged down with details and inundated with information. How would you approach somebody like that if, imagining they're a client? Are you for that? Do you simplify? Kind of how is your approach to taking websites that already have just and I mean a ton of information, like it almost feels like it's like overflowing,
Yeah, I see, it's a great question because I see the same problem across financial institutions as I see across realty and MLS listing websites, as I see across car dealerships. Like when you get into these types of ecosystems, business verticals, everybody just kind of uses what the other guy uses. And so you end up seeing these bloated, excessive websites with generally outdated code, poor user experiences. I mean, I think the majority of us, despite being in this industry, will probably agree that, a lot of us hate our own websites in this industry. And the trick is because there's a balance of features that need to be accommodated and supported. And so people just kind of tend to default to go, what gets the job done? And then they don't really look beyond that. And I don't know if it's because it's just kind of the industry moves a little bit slower or is less innovative. But there's a huge opportunity for the mortgage lender, the financial institution that comes in and goes, okay, how do I marry these two worlds? And the way that I would envision you marry those two worlds is because by process of elimination, you're probably not going to go reinvent the wheel and come up with your own platform. So you're probably still going to use one of these platforms that we're talking about that's bloated. But here's how you balance it. You have a forward-facing website, so a traditional website that does not use these platforms that we talk about. And you piggyback those platforms on the back end of it. So what that means is you could have a really elegant, quick-loading, effective, good user experience, traditionally built website. And then when they click log in, then it goes to the other platform. And so that way you get the creative freedom and the marketing efficiencies of a traditional platform while supporting it with the features that you need of the financial institution. And there are ways that you can blend the design of systems. And so you could, depending on the limitations and the flexibility of whatever the financial institution's platform is, you can probably reverse engineer, even with limitations, a design that looks seamless enough to match the pretty forward-facing website. Right. And so that's how you would balance the efficiencies of, we haven't even talked about content, things like that, but that's how I would do it, is build a quote unquote traditional website that gives you those freedoms and flexibilities, and then put on the back end what you need for that, the transactions and all
Gotcha.
the other things.
So you're talking about essentially almost compartmentalizing and having the initial experience that a consumer would go through be cleaner, simpler, and then giving them the links, the ability to navigate to where they need to go. And then if that happens to be the platform in which, a bank might need or a wholesale lender might need, it's kind of almost behind the wall of the initial website.
Basically,
okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a good strategy. When you're taking on new clients, let's kind of pivot a little bit. What are some of kind of the SEO sins that you see a lot of people doing that you wish more people were aware of?
So one that's fresh on my mind is getting distracted by shiny objects. We don't get this often. We talked briefly before we hit record that I'm fortunately in a position of doing this for so long that usually by the time somebody engages me, they kind of understand what they're walking into. But every once in a while we get a client that is excited. They're a little novice to marketing, but they found success in other ways. And so they come in hot, right? They're like, I want to do everything. I want to do it all. I want to do some of that. I want to do some of that. And so we end up fighting for attention for conflicting strategies. So with this example, the client had been with us for just a couple months, and within just a few months, our SEO had outpaced all their other forms of marketing. So paid ads was historically their bread and butter, and then they also had email and social media. Not only did we outpace all three of those, SEO generated more than all three combined in, I think, like 6 months. And so we came in and clearly proved the return on investment. You can see it in Google Analytics and all the data, where the traffic's coming from and which source it is. Yet, I call them bro marketers, right? And so it's like the dudes that are super hypey and super flashy, and it's like, you know, try everything all the time, be louder. And it's, I think like it's just come with the omnipresence of social media. Like social media has made people less familiar with delayed gratification and more obsessed with instant gratification. And it's just fascinating to me that people will come in and go, well, I will spend, you know, a dollar on social media to get back $1.01.
For sure.
Or I could spend $1 on SEO and get back 257. But it's because SEO is not loud, and it just moves on slow and steady, and there's nothing to scream about. It's just like money in the bank. But social media is shiny, and there's likes and there's comments, and so everybody gets distracted by these vanity metrics. And so, I guess to come back to your question is like, you know, find somebody that you can trust, find somebody that has a strategy, that can actually communicate what the strategy is and not be vague about it. And then hire a professional, not just in SEO and all things, hire a professional you trust, and then get out of the way.